Welcome, everyone. This is Dr. Mercola. I'm here today with Ginny Banks, who is a natural food chemist who has been working in the supplement industry for a number of years, and she's really one of the experts in antioxidants and recognized so within the industry, and regularly lectures and speaks to provide and educate the members of the industry about these different types of topics. And today, we're delighted to have her with us today to discuss a really important nutrient, which is chlorella, which I view really as a food. And
hmm
I'm interested in having her take on it because it's been my experience. It's somewhat difficult to find people with expertise in this area, and there's a lot of mythology associated around chlorella. And I'm hoping Jenny will help us get through some of that and sort through the details and help us really identify some of its true benefits. So welcome, Jenny.
Thank you for having me.
So maybe if you can describe to our listeners what your journey and process was to get to the point where you're at now and how you've developed your expertise.
Oh, sure. As you said, I'm a natural products chemist, and I worked in a research lab for almost 10 years, where I did research and science on the compounds found in different plant sources and purifying them and determining what their benefits are. And at the time, this was before the dietary supplement industry really took off. I did it more for food products, but eventually, with the momentum of the dietary supplement industry and more plants and herb products being used for nutritional purposes, I got more involved in even a bigger selection of plants besides what we use in the food industry. So I look at herbs, I've looked at algae, we look at nutritional compounds that are found in even strange things like bugs that are
Sure.
used for natural colors. So
Excellent.
I've sort of found my way here, and
Well, we're delighted that we found you and have you available as a resource to help educate us about these really important topics. So today we're going to talk about chlorella, and how would you best describe chlorella?
well, I agree with you. Chlorella is a food. It's an algae. It's found in off the Asian coasts. It's a single cell algae, so it's very, very small, only 2 to 10 microns in size. But it's collected. When it's collected, it's green, so it looks just like what you would expect an algae to look like that you see growing in a pond. Um, the interesting thing about chlorella and the reason it's used as a food in some cultures is its very high protein content.
So it has a lot of potential, many useful characteristics that you've just described. And I'm wondering what some of the uses and benefits that you see for chlorella.
Well, one of the best benefits would be for specific populations like vegetarians and vegans who want proteins and B vitamins from a non-animal source, because protein and B vitamins usually come from animal sources. So if you're a vegetarian, or especially if you're a vegan, chlorella is a great way to get those proteins and get those B vitamins that you miss out when you don't eat any animal products. Chlorella also is a detoxifier. It repairs nerve tissues. It's a great immune enhancer. It can improve your digestion, and also it promotes a healthy pH in your gut, which helps the microorganisms, the good bacteria in your gut, thrive. So it has a lot of diverse potential, nutritionally speaking.
Now, spirulina is another algae that's frequently confused with chlorella and has many of the same characteristics.
It does. It's also a good vegetable protein source. In fact, it's got slightly higher protein than chlorella. It has basically the difference between them. They're both algaes. One's a blue-green algae, one's a green algae. They have different nutritional profiles. They both are high protein, but spirulina has is higher in B12. It has a antioxidant enzyme called superoxide dismutase, which is important. It is high in essential fatty acids. But chlorella has more chlorophyll. It has higher levels of nucleotides, RNA and DNA. It has higher levels of beta carotene. So, if a lot of healthcare practitioners recommend taking both. There isn't one over the other. It's a combination of the two that's really going to be the nutritional powerhouse.
Well, one of the benefits of chlorella, at least that I'm familiar with, one of the early benefits is, and I received this understanding from Dietrich Klinghardt, and his relative discovery of it, as I understand, through industrial processes, is that chlorella was used in many mining operations to actually extract these metals. Mm-hmm. So it actually binds very powerfully to heavy metals. And I don't believe that's a characteristic of spirulina.
No, it isn't. It is not.
So
that's actually one of the interesting characteristics of chlorella is the cell wall. The material that the cell wall is made up of has been found to attract heavy metal compounds, in some cases even certain pesticides. And when I talked about specific populations that would benefit from chlorella, it's definitely people who are exposed to heavy metal or high polluted air or water. For this reason alone is why they should be taking chlorella.
And you mentioned this cell wall has I believe some polysaccharides or constituents that really bind these heavy metals, and it's a very small cell. It's a single cell, chlorella, and that if you just swallow it whole, intact, this cell wall is not going to be able to bind. So you have to really break this cell wall apart. So you sort of expose the jagged edges to the heavy metals. So can you explain that concept in this, the broken cell wall?
The cell wall of chlorella is actually indigestible to humans. So as you said, you could take it and it'll just go right through you. It'll come right out because the nutrients that are inside need to be out of the cell wall. So most chlorella products you see use the term broken cell wall to describe the fact that they've taken this tough, indigestible portion of the cell wall and broken it apart so that you can digest the nutrients, that the many nutrients that are found in chlorella. This is done in different ways. But the most important part is if you'll see companies describe their unique way of breaking that cell wall and how it's the most gentle and it's this proprietary method. But the key comparison to make is the nutritional profile.
Really? So from your perspective, there's as long as the cell wall is broken and the internal nutrients are exposed, there's not really a lot of difference in the actual process that's used to break down the cell wall.
Well, there are different processes, and they all claim that our process protects the nutrients. So the only way you're going to know
is to look at the nutrients.
Is to look at the nutrient levels. Yeah, and so there's companies that use the sound waves to break the cell wall, and they say that's the most gentle. There are companies that use a really gentle milling process that doesn't expose the chlorella to light or high temperatures. And they'll both claim that they're better, but if you compare them side by side, their nutritional profile is very similar. So it's a matter of just doing it right, but there's many right ways to break the cell wall. Okay,
so this is making the assumption, however, that the nutritional profile is in fact accurate and accurately reflects what's in the bottle. And there's certainly some less than high integrity suppliers who may not provide that information accurately or provide it from an older batch that really is no longer reflective of what they're currently producing. So can you describe that process and more importantly, if you explain it to us, how a typical consumer can confirm that what's stated on the label is truly what